Ash trudged through the crowded school hallway, his backpack slung loosely over his shoulder. Around him, other students bustled and laughed, shouted and teased. For most, it was a regular day. But for Ash, every sound, laugh, and cry was like a spark of color flashing before his eyes, each one carrying its own feeling. A girl in front of him had a sickly blue glow around her as she whispered to her friend, trying to hold back tears. Another boy, just a few lockers down, was enveloped in a fiery red light of frustration as he struggled to open his locker. And then, there were the bullies. They had an unsettling, dark mix of colors, sharp and jagged like broken glass. Ash tried not to look, but as he passed a group of boys tormenting a kid named Ben, he couldn't help but feel it all. Ben's fear and humiliation struck him hard, as if he were the one being shoved into the lockers. The bullies laughed, completely oblivious to the pain they were causing. Ash clenched his fists, stepping forward. "I have to help," but one of the bullies, Luke, noticed him and sneered. "Oh, look, it's the weird kid. What are you looking at, freak?" Ash stopped, his courage wavering under Luke's harsh stare. He could feel his face grow hot as the jeers sliced through him like sharp needles. It was too much. He turned and walked away, defeated and ashamed, feeling the laughter echoing behind him. That night, Ash lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The weight of everyone's emotions, the things he had felt that day, sat heavy on his chest. A lump formed in his throat as he thought about all the people he couldn't help. It was like a storm building up inside him, and he didn't know how much longer he could keep it all in. Finally, he decided he needed to tell someone. He found his mom in the kitchen, making tea. She looked up as he walked in, her smile warm and comforting. "Hey, sweetie, everything okay?" Ash hesitated, taking a deep breath. "Mom, there's something I need to tell you." Her eyes softened with concern, and she pulled out a chair for him. "Of course, honey, I'm listening." He sat down, his hands clenched tightly in his lap. "Ever since Dad passed away, I started seeing these things, colors, almost like lights around people. I can feel what they're feeling, when they're sad, angry, or scared." His mom's smile faltered, and he saw a flicker of doubt in her eyes. She tried to keep her tone supportive. "That's very unique, Ash. But you know, sometimes when we go through hard times, we see things or feel things that might not be real." Ash shook his head, his frustration building. "No, Mom, it's real," he insisted. "I know what people are feeling. Today, the bullies shoved Ben, and it was like I could feel every bit of his pain." His mom sighed and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Honey, I know you've been through a lot, and you're such a sensitive boy. But this, I just don't know if it's possible." Ash's heart sank, and the sting of her words cut deeper than he had expected. "So, you don't believe me?" "It's not that, sweetie. I don't understand." She paused, struggling to find the right words. "Ash, sometimes we can imagine things when we're hurting." Ash shot up, pulling away from her touch. "Forget it," he muttered, his voice barely a whisper. "I knew you wouldn't understand." He rushed out of the kitchen, ignoring her calls as he bolted out the door. The cold night air stung his cheeks, but he didn't stop running until he reached the big tree in their backyard. It was the same tree where he and his dad used to sit on warm summer nights, staring up at the stars. As he looked up now, the sky seemed endless, each star a tiny flicker of hope. Dad used to say that stars held answers, he remembered. That if I ever needed something badly enough, I should wish on a star. He looked up at the North Star, the brightest in the sky, and took a deep breath. Closing his eyes, he whispered, I wish I could make a difference. I just want to help people, to stop the bullying, to make things better." When he opened his eyes, the North Star seemed to be glowing brighter, illuminating the entire area around him. For a moment, he thought he was imagining it, but then the light grew even stronger, filling the sky with a magical, warm radiance. Out of that light, a small, floating figure appeared. It shimmered, round and star-like, with tiny arms and legs, and a face that radiated kindness. "Hello, Ash," the figure said, its voice gentle and warm. "I heard your wish." Ash's mouth fell open, his heart pounding. What are you? The figure chuckled, a sound like a twinkling bell. You can call me Star. I'm here to help you. Ash blinked, barely able to process what was happening. Are you real? Star floated closer, its golden glow comforting and reassuring. As real as you need me to be. You wished for help, didn't you? Ash nodded, a spark of hope reigniting in his chest. Yes, I just want to make a difference. To stop the bullying, to help people who are hurting. Star tilted its head, watching him with a smile. That's exactly what we'll do, Ash. You have a unique gift, a heart that feels what others feel. Together, we're going to use that gift to help those who need it the most. For the first time in a long while, Ash felt a surge of determination. With Star by his side, he finally believed he could make a difference. What do we do first? He asked, his voice filled with excitement and purpose. Star's eyes sparkled with a hint of magic. I have someone in mind. His name is Red. The next day, Star floated invisibly beside Ash as they spotted Red in the hallway. Red was a quiet, artistic boy with a messy mop of dark hair and a unique mix of deep purples and bright greens around him, a flair that Ash recognized as creative talent and passion. Red held a small notebook close to his chest, filled with sketches and music notes. But as he walked down the hall, a group of bullies noticed him, and a dark flare began to crackle around them. Hey, what's in the notebook, Red? More dumb cartoons. One of the bullies sneered, snatching it from his hands. Give it back, Red cried, his voice trembling. Ash could feel Red's panic, his flare flickering with fear and frustration. The bullies flipped through the pages, laughing at the drawings and music notes. This is pathetic, one of them said, tearing a page out. Without thinking, Ash shouted, enough. The bullies turned, surprise flashing in their eyes. Ash's heart raced, but this time he didn't back down. He glanced to his side, where Star floated, glowing brighter than ever. Star gave him an encouraging nod, and Ash took a deep breath, his voice firm. Give him back his notebook. Now. The bullies exchanged confused glances, caught off guard by Ash's unexpected defiance. To be continued.